Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the beloved Wildflower. If this is your first time, hello. If you've been here before, hey, I'm your host, Dannielle. Thank you for stopping in today. You could have did something else. You could have listened to someone else, but you stopped in here, so I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. So, in honor of Women's Month, which is March, I wanted to highlight a poem that I wrote back in March of 2015, which was to bring awareness to sexual assault. So I participated in a teleconference hosted by Women Reaching Out, and it was highlighting stories of women who were sexually assaulted and how they overcame that sexual assault and what they went through emotionally. So it was a very beautiful experience for me. Like I said, this happened back in 2015, and I was very honored to be a part of this as well as share my poem. This is one of my earlier poems. Like I said, it's back in 2015, y'all. So I have developed a lot more as an author, but it is something that I still want to share with you guys. So I won't keep you very long today because I'm just going to share this poem with you so you can get on your day, okay? Get on with your day. Excuse me. So I open up the poem with scripture. They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. Jeremiah 17:8. Bold she stands, brave, wise, and beautiful. Her leaves have fallen, and the season brings an arctic chill. Yet bold, brave, and beautiful she stands. Old Man Winter has climbed up her trunk and pulled out her branches, chipping away pieces of her bark. Yet bold, brave, and beautiful she stands. The Arctic wind howls and leaves its crystals that weigh her branches down. Yet bold, brave, and beautiful she stands. This season has brought powdered sugar hills that glisten and leave a cold mist on her trunk. She is a sight to see, this bold, beautiful tree. She stands firm in her faith, knowing that the cold winter will be gone shortly. He robbed her from her fruits that once hung. He drained her and left her alone to fight its winter's cold. As the season begins to shift, the cold subsides. She forgives the season for the bitterness, freeing herself. The cold has gone, and the spring brings along its fruits and blossoms. She will stand, bold, brave, and beautiful. Her roots firm in the soil and recovered from the harsh winter. She forgives the season, the Arctic chill that pulled on her branches and chipped away at her bark. For pain lasts but a season, and she knows that seasons bring blossoms and fruit in due time. She stretches her branches to welcome the sun's warmth. The sun releases her from the darkness that once held her captive. She stands bold, brave, and beautiful. So I kept emphasizing the bold, brave, and beautiful in the poem because the teleconference emphasized being bold and brave enough to share your stories about sexual assault. And although I have never experienced sexual assault, in a way that I know some of the other women have experienced sexual assault, I wanted to be a voice for the women who were not comfortable sharing their stories. And so the teleconference, like I said, was about being bold, being brave, and being courageous. And I felt that a tree represents that. It represents the woman who is constantly being transformed, who is constantly producing life, who is constantly giving, 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 giving. And oftentimes when you see a tree in the winter, it looks like it has nothing because there's no fruit, there's no leaves, it's just bare. But deep inside the roots is still life. There's still this spark of beauty. There's still this fire. There's still this joy. There's still this life deep down inside of it. But externally, you may not see it. And there are women who have been sexually assaulted or physically abused or mentally abused who on the outside don't look like they bear much fruit because of the unfortunate trauma that they experience. But deep down inside, there's still life. And in due time, that woman will heal and she will be strong and she will be bold and she will be courageous and she will produce her blooms and her blossoms and she will produce her fruit and she will produce her perfume. It just takes time for her to heal. So this poem was dedicated to all the women who experienced some type of assault and grew past it and learned how to um, love again, to trust again, to be honest, to share, to give their testimony. And for those who weren't um, brave enough to share, for those that did, their testimony will help them. You know, their fruit will be something that they can consume and then they can plant a seed in someone else. So I thought it was fitting to refer to the woman as the bold, beautiful, brave tree because she has endured so many seasons and she continues no matter what. She shows up in spring with the buds. And then as the seasons go, she's always producing her fruit. And so I look at women as the tree. And like I said, I was very honored to be a part of this experience, this teleconference. And another thing I want to encourage is that sometimes when you have a dream and a vision, you don't have a big crowd. I believe there was maybe 5 people on that teleconference. But at the end of the call, I was requested to read this poem again. And one lady said on the phone, that I truly inspired her and that she thought the poem was absolutely beautiful. My mother, of course, she tuned in. And at the time, there was a guy that was mentoring me. His name is Steve. He also said it was a very beautiful poem. So sometimes you're only going to get a few people that cheer you on. And sometimes you're not going to get anybody. You'll get criticism and somebody will say, girl, this poem is trash. Okay. Or as my sister Vita would say, this is trash in the bag. And that's okay. That's their opinion. That is theirs free will to express themselves, but never ever give up on your dream, just like the tree. In the winter, the tree looks a hot mess. It ain't got no leaves. It ain't got no color. It's just out here looking dry, fried, dyed, laid to the side. But in due time, it will develop the things that it needs. It will bring this vibrant color, this vibrant perfume, this beautiful, delicious fruit that only this tree can produce. And there is a season for each one of us. And just because you have not arrived to the season that you feel you're supposed to be entitled to at this moment, doesn't mean that that season is not going to exist at some point. But I truly believe that the Most High has to develop your character for the purpose He has for you. And some of our purpose is just to inspire and to love on each other. Not everything that the Most High has for you comes with monetary gain or a bunch of fans. And so to keep up with the dream and the goal requires one to be brave and to be very courageous because there are going to be small audience sometimes, if not any. There was a time I did a book reading for Ruza's Greatest Creation, and it was at a local library. I think it was at the Lawrence Branch Library back in 2019. 2018, 2019, around that time, into 2018. And I was so excited about doing this book reading. I was like, oh my goodness, I had this dream of publishing a book. And here I am. I published a book and, you know, we're a registered trademark brand. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I just want to share my story. And I remember a woman telling me, the lady who, she made a little poster for me and everything. Okay. She was so sweet. She worked for the library at that time. And she was saying that she was like, I just want to let you know. And here I am in person now and about to read my story to what I thought was going to be a decent audience, because when I presented the book to her, she said, the book is beautiful. I love it. It's colorful. It's amazing. And we have a lot of homeschool moms that would love this story. Well, when she presented the book to the homeschool moms, they said it was a secular version of Genesis and they refused to bring their children to hear it. So the little girl on the inside started crying. And she said to me, I just want you to be prepared that you may not have many people, if any at all, because our crowd that normally comes for book readings, they were somewhat offended by your book, Aruza's Greatest Creation, because it reminded them of Genesis, but they said it was a secular version of it. So I believe we had 2 parents that showed up. One was by accident. He was just checking out books with his children, and he decided to stop in. And you're going to have moments like that when nobody shows up, and that's okay. Like I said, the little girl inside me cried, but the woman that I am today went back and held her hand and said, baby, it's okay. You've already come this far. You were told you couldn't read and write. So to publish a book and be a registered trademark brand in the U.S. and U.S. territory, baby, you popping, okay? Read this book to these 4 little babies that's in here. And the Most High said, humble yourself, give them out for free. So for the children that came, they got a free book and they got a free pig. And when I tell you, I looked in that audience, and the hardest thing for me at that time, because I was relying so heavily upon man's praise, the hardest part was looking into the audience and not seeing not a single soul that I knew. That no one that I knew showed up. To several of my book signings in the beginning and my book readings, my husband, he was always there. And then I had a book sale where some of my girls showed up. There was an event where my sister did, but like when I actually read the book, nobody that I knew that had children showed up. And you have to be okay with that and understand that not everybody is going to support you. And it's not even intentional. People get caught up in their own life and their own dreams and their own goals. And sometimes you're not their priority, and you should not be. Your priority is to complete the task that the Most High gave you and to pursue the dreams and goals that you have inside you. Let those seeds flourish. Let them grow. And like I said, you're not going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to enjoy the perfume you put off or the cologne, So I wanted to share this poem with you guys. It is a part of the Wildflowers in the Attic, some of my poetry from my throwback days, 2015. I am continuing to evolve and become a better author. That said, my stories may not be for everybody, but that's okay. I truly enjoy writing them. I hate the spell checking and all of that. I hate the technical parts of it, like who's your audience, who's this, I hate all of the back and forth with the editors and finding the illustrator and the publisher. I hate all that. But I love to write and share stories. So there are going to be more poems and short stories that I've never even published that I will be giving to you guys free on the beloved Wildflower. I hope you enjoyed this poem. Share, like, subscribe, do what you feel, baby. I'm not going to peer pressure you into doing anything. I just hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. It is evening time here. I'm about to have a cup of tea and hang out with my family. Have a good one. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to the beloved Wildflower.